name's Brock Satter. I'm with Mass Action Against Police Brutality. Boston is at a crossroads, just like we've seen unfolded on the airwaves in recent days and weeks. In the case of Philando Castile, Geronimo Yanez, the officer who shot and killed him, was basically let off for cold-blooded murder. We've seen case after case. In Milwaukee, killer of Sylvell Smith was let off. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, Terrence Crutcher, his killer, Betty Shelby, the officer Betty Shelby, was exonerated. And also just recently in Cincinnati, in the case of Sam DuBose, that officer Ray Tenzing going through the second mistrial. And right here we have a very important case in Boston, because this is the only case where an officer has been even indicted for any crime against a civilian. Fortunately, it wasn't for a murder. But we have open investigations right now on murders, which we're very concerned about as well. The case of Terrence Coleman, that is yet to be any charges filed there. But this is the case of Mary Holmes, who was assaulted by Officer Jennifer Amion Garvey on March 26, 2014. Eventually, this officer was indicted, but not before Mary Holmes herself was placed under false charges of assault and disorderly conduct, which were eventually dropped. And it was through her steadfast courage and initiative, where she never gave up to get the truth out, which led to the release of the MBTA surveillance footage, which captured the whole incident and refuted every one of Officer Garvey's claims. And this is the reason why Officer Garvey is on trial today, right now. This case has been going now in its 5th day. We anticipate it'll be concluded very soon. The officer decided to waive her right for a jury, which is kind of an interesting thing. Maybe concerned about the mood of the people now, which is rightly outraged for all these police getting off for violating people's rights. She decided to place her faith with the judge, and now everything rests with the judge, Douglas Wilkins. And ultimately it will be him who will be judged, and the city of Boston, on the outcome of this trial. We've reached a point in America where people are rightly asking whether or not people have rights. Certainly in the case of black people, whether we have rights at all. So there's a very interesting course of argument that the defense attorney for Jennifer Amion Garvey is raising, which we actually happen to agree with, but for opposite reasons. The defense has been trying to argue that, and questioning why Jennifer Amion Garvey is the only one on trial when there were other officers involved in the assault on Mary Holmes. She's also been indicted for filing false police reports. The defense attorney also questions why she's the only one on trial, because other officers were involved in the filing of these false police reports. We couldn't agree more. But this is not an argument to let Garvey off the hook. In fact, the opposite is true. If Jennifer Amion Garvey is not convicted for these charges, it will be a miscarriage of justice. But also, it begs the question why all these other officers are not also indicted. We agree that everyone who's been involved in this cover-up should be indicted. We should take a look over to Chicago just yesterday, where they indicted 3 officers for the cover-up of the murder of Laquan McDonald. More of this needs to happen. It needs to happen every time, because we're not only facing assault, we're facing a cover-up by the prosecution, by the officers. And that's another question we want to raise after this trial: is why did it take 659 days for any charges to be filed against Jennifer Amiot Garvey? This reflects an investigation that was lackadaisical at best. That it took Mary Holmes herself to get to take a look and force the release of video footage, which should have been looked at within days of the incident. Begs the question on how this whole investigation has been conducted. I do want to say that we expect the judge Douglas Wilkins to take all of the conclusions, reasonable conclusions based on what's been shown already in trial, which is that this officer was guilty of everything that she's been charged for, and we expect a conviction. And if we don't get a conviction, we'll be just another city in a long list of cities like Tulsa, like Milwaukee, like Cincinnati, like Falcon Heights, Minnesota, that has basically said loud and clear that when it comes to black people, when it comes to citizens in general, because Mary herself will be the first to point out she doesn't even see it as a black and white issue, that really this is an issue of blue, of police trampling people's rights, of the courts upholding it, of society as a whole telling us it's okay, that we really have no rights in America and we should just accept it and be happy that we're not the ones getting beaten and taken to prison or getting killed falsely. So that's why we're here. We want to encourage everybody who sees this message that this trial is soon concluding. We need to continue to pack the courtroom and demand justice, and we need to condemn this judge and this system if we do not get a conviction. So that's why we're out here today, and that's why we're going to continue to be in court.